Andy, on Monday, you were calling me from the
Yeah.
toasty, warm Florida days, and now you're shoveling out of snow.
Yeah, it's disgusting, Dave. I mean, I was sitting working by a pool. It was sunny. It was like 80 something degrees. I was trying to figure out how do I get myself away from my computer and into the water. I failed, but I was excited about it. And now here I am, not even 48 hours later, Dave. There's 4 or 5 inches of snow outside. There's more coming. Like, what the hell is happening here?
Do you say like you get teased going down to Florida with your son? I mean, do you
Yeah.
feel like you are when you come back to these stark contrasts, do you feel
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I could live in Florida?"
Oh, like we've already made that decision. Like that we would ideally we'd part time in Florida for sure. Like definitely, I could definitely spend winters in Florida. Yeah, for sure, for sure. We don't want to be here all the time. I love Virginia. I love being able to be here, but I could definitely be 50-50 for sure.
Okay. Well, I'd give you like a year and a half of doing that, and then you're gonna be like, I hate Florida. Like this place sucks.
I don't
Like
believe that, Dave. I don't believe it. I don't
now
believe it at
there's
all.
so much good stuff about Florida, but it's a like it really is a yeah, you have to do it on a vacation basis type of thing. Like to live there full time, I think you just realize that there's different, it's I don't know.
We frequented. I mean, we've been. That was our that was our post-deployment adventure. So we went there a lot. As soon as I come back from deployments overseas, we would go to Disney World, and then we went a few other times, and it just became like such a positive memory for our family. And such a place where we come together and reconnect. And so it really does hold a special place in our hearts. And my youngest has been down there now for a couple of years. He loves it. I think my eldest would be happy to be down there if he could. So we'll see. We'll see. It's a strange place because these are strange times, but it is a wonderful, environment for a large part of the year. For a large part of the year, I mean, you can't beat being, that close to the beach wherever you are.
No, there's so many benefits to a lot of things. And I love my time in Florida. Please don't misconstrued any of what I'm saying. But yeah, it's just different when you're there full time all the time. So, okay, Andy, let's get into some of the topics. Let's do a little post Super Bowl thing real quick here,
All right,
Andy.
all right,
Uh, a lot of narratives, storylines that come out. There's the meme of, well, there's the questions about, um, Jalen Hurts when he lost the Super Bowl a couple years back. He had, this picture of him with the confetti of the Chiefs falling down around him.
yeah,
And I get, famously, he had made that a screensaver, kind of like a motivator for him. And
right,
now he's got redemption now and all this other stuff. There's the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce
yeah,
stuff. And, during the Super Bowl, I didn't really pay much attention to it, but like, Trump was there and he got a lot of applause apparently, and then when Taylor Swift was showing up, she got a lot of boos and stuff. And now you have like the news about the Eagles are not going to go to the White House, or they're saying they're not going to go to the
yeah.
White House because of how they feel about the current administration. I don't know what to make out of this, but I will say one thing. When Dak Prescott comes up online yesterday and says, we're next. We're the next Eagles. We beat the Eagles a lot in the regular season, but it's our turn now. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That's what I know is true. Is all the other stuff whatever, but the Dak Prescott saying it's our turn now. I could have script. I should have anticipated that was going to come out, Andy.
Dave, why wouldn't it be their turn? They've got the most exciting new coach in the NFL. They've done so much already to bolster the team that had that great run last season. I don't even understand what you're doubting about Dak's determination here. I mean, hey, that team like solidly missed the playoffs, got blown out by the New Orleans Saints. What don't you like about your odds?
Oh, let me count the ways. I don't even I lose I have to go on my toes and such. It's just such a farce, and And now I've got to hear these stories about how they're going to rebuild in the draft and they're going to get a running back when they could have gotten a running back last year and chose to just say, you know what, I'm just going to put everything in the hands of my quarterback and one wide receiver. It's just this is just comedy areas, but let's go on another thing there too is okay, what some key decisions for some of these teams. Is Travis Kelce going to retire? Where are you at on the Travis Kelce retirement watch?
I don't think so. I think he's going to come back. I think the Chiefs, look, for everything everybody's saying about that team, like, and they didn't have a great season like last year in a lot of a sense. Like some of those games were too close. Like they ended up with a great record. They won the
Yeah.
AFC. They got back to the Super Bowl. Like they still have Andy Reid. They still have Patrick Mahomes. They still have other talent, Isaiah Worthy and others. They're going to draft. They're going to trade. They're going to be fine. Like they're going to be fine. And I think Kelsey's going to look at it and say, "I want to try one more time." You know what I mean? Like it's hard for these guys to walk away. He's still
Yeah.
playing good football. Didn't have a great Super Bowl. Not as good as he was maybe 2, 3 years ago. But the guy still plays good football. He's still really hard to stop. And I don't know that he's ready to walk away yet. Maybe he'll look at his brother and be like, "Hey, you know what? Jason's living a pretty good life, doing pretty well. Let's make some more commercials and host some game shows and call it a day." But I mean, the man loves the game and he's good at it. And I think the Chiefs are going to be a threat next year. You know, people want to dismiss him and write him off and hate him, but they're a damn good football team.
Yeah, it's easy to say like Kelsey did not have a good year this year. But let's just be real. Last year was the year of Kelsey. I mean, he did the whole famously, he started dating Taylor Swift. She started attending the games. There during the off season, he wasn't exactly working out all the time and getting his body right. He was more around gallivanting around the country because his girlfriend is the most famous musician in the world. I mean, and so let's just be real. Like that was not happening. I think a lot like if they would have won, he definitely would have retired. He would have been like three-peat, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know. But now it's like a bad loss. He looked bad. He's getting mocked in a lot of ways. I think it invigorated him. I think also with Kansas City, the one thing you don't hear from Kansas City is, oh, we should have done this, or we could have got a better wide receiver. Patrick Mahomes never says a negative. Like if LeBron James loses in a playoff game, you hear, "Oh, I was hurt. Oh, we didn't have talent around me. We had some injuries and all this other stuff." Patrick, you don't hear any of that from Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
He
he
owns
isn't
it, man. He owns it.
he owns it. Like he didn't play well. He was bad. They didn't have great weapons around him. He could have fried the Chiefs, but he didn't. He owned it. I mean, he took it and it goes from there. So that'll be good. Okay, question number two, Andy. Is Kellen Moore going to be successful as the Saints head coach?
So that's a tricky one because
The answer is no. The answer is no.
can anybody be successful as the Saints head coach? I don't have confidence in that ownership. I don't have confidence in that GM. And so I don't know that Kellen's going to get to go in there and do what he'd like to do. I think he's a talented guy. I thought he was a solid backup. I thought he showed good decision making in San Diego, or I think he was still there in San Diego, then Los Angeles. That team, that franchise struggles. I think he did a great job in Philly. I mean, yeah, it's a great team, but again, first year as the OC there, made some changes, brought out the talent in his team, did a great job. I think he'll do a good job on a bad team. That could be enough to win that terrible division in time, but they do have to figure some things out. I mean, that team is not ready today, so they need some discipline. He's young, he's eager. I think he deserves the shot. I'm glad he's there. I'm glad Aaron Glenn didn't go there because I think it's going to be a tough job. But I'm happy for Kellen Moore.
Yeah, he's not going to be a good head coach there. I think he's benefited from a lot of different things. Left to his own devices, he's gonna implode there. But
Wow.
I'm gonna have to be proved wrong. Okay, last question, real quick on this. On this day today, February 12th, are the Eagles going to repeat?
They will go into the next season with the best chance to get back to the Super Bowl as the season begins. I can't say they're going to repeat that. That's really hard. I mean, that's just so hard, but they have a really good shot. They have a really good shot.
Okay, so it's gonna be a good. I'm excited to see it because the Lions are gonna be a little invigorated to not just worry about regular season wins, but to go in and like now I have to prove myself in the playoffs. See how that goes. The Commanders are up and coming. The Rams seem to be always good. On the AFC side, look at that AFC West. That is just going to be a murderer's row type of a division with great head coaches, Hall of Fame head coaches
Yeah.
in almost every one of those teams. The Ravens are going to be motivated again. The Bills still have to get over that hump. I think the talent just keeps getting better with these teams. So, whereas before you had a lot of couple, one or two clear favorites, this is going to be a great year to see who comes away here. So,
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think, for Detroit, as one example, I mean, Detroit had a great run, strong team, but, big changes, right? I mean, you're going to have
yeah.
two new coordinators, a brutal road schedule, so I mean, there's a lot of things that go into how successful you can be in an NFL season. Detroit showed health is a big part of it, and you don't control that sometimes to a large extent. So you never know. I still think Detroit's going to be a very strong team. But like you said, I mean, there's some solid teams out there. The Commanders, up and coming. I think some of these big free agencies will make a difference, right? Like where does a Max Crosby go? Where does a Miles Garrett go? There's going to be some other unexpected moves and trades. The draft will reveal, some interesting things, and we'll see. We'll see. In the NFL, you can never be complacent. You can never assume Super Bowl. You can never assume playoffs, unless you're Dak Prescott, of course.
No, unless you're Dak
Your
Prescott.
turn.
So, yeah. So the combine is 2 weeks away. And then you got a month of draft coverage, which the NFL wins the offseason every year. I mean, they have the best offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, Andy, let's go on to some other news here. Andy, I'm proud to announce that the president, Donald Trump, has ended the procurement and forced use of paper straws, Andy.
That's right.
So
That's
this
right.
was announced on Monday, but he signed an executive order as Trump has signed everything executive orders to end the procurement and forced use. I didn't know that was forced, but it is forced use. So is now the federal government is directed to stop purchasing paper straws and ensure they are no longer provided in federal buildings. I hate paper straws, by the way, has nothing to do with Trump. The order requires the development of a national strategy to end the use of paper straws within 45 days. Andy, like, where's Doge here? Like, we need a national strategy to end. Like, just fucking cut them. Like, what are we doing here? We're wasting money. Just if you want to end it, just fucking end it.
Dave, I'm against most bullshit wars. The war on crime, the war on poverty, the war on sex, the war on drugs. They're all failures and nonsense. But I'm going to be honest, with the
You,
flood of bullshit coming out of the White House, Dave, I am for the war on federally funded paper straws. I mean, these things do suck, right? There's
they do suck.
I think everybody knows they suck, and I think like it's okay to have the option to use a straw of your preference. Like hey, you can bring your own straw. Like if you want to be environmentally sound, you can buy a fixed cup. You can BYO cup to whatever theme park you're going to. When you
BYO
go
Cup.
out, you can bring a metal straw, a plastic straw, permanent one, whatever you want. Like you have that option. But when you're sitting there, we started out talking about Disney World. When you're sitting there at Disney World in the 95-degree Florida sun, you're trying to drink your little ice slushy, and you're trying to drink it through that damn straw, and the thing's deteriorating like as you go, and you're like, what the hell is happening right now? I think the president might be right on this one that maybe we don't need to mandate paper straw use across the federal government. So, there's a lot of bad things coming out from the White House. I think I'm okay with this one. I know environmentally we'd like to make better choices in the use of plastics. We
But
have
these
that,
things
right?
suck.
Like
These things suck, Andy.
they suck, Dave. They suck. They suck. Bring your own damn straw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% behind this. I mean, there's nothing worse than you're trying to drink your drink and your straw is decaying on you
Yeah.
and it gets limp and all this other like there's nothing worse than that.
Nobody wants to be limp, Dave.
Not, nobody wants to be limp, Andy. Definitely nobody wants to be limp. So like this is those yeah, I'm 100% behind. this one here. But again, where's Doge? Like, why are we wasting taxpayer numbers to do like a strategy to do it? Just sign and say we're no longer doing it. We're open for business. Like,
Yeah.
send us your straw vendors
Yeah.
and all
Put
this.
put out the RFP for best
Yeah.
straws available. Make your pick, right? I mean, like this isn't complicated, right?
Yeah, I mean, Trump's a great deal maker. I'm sure he'll make a great deal for the government.
Yeah.
So,
Where's the 19-year-old former 4chan user that's now the secretary advising the president on straw implementation? Where's that kid?
where is that game? Okay, so that's one, Andy. Now we're going to talk about the war on the penny, Andy. The
Yeah.
penny. This
Yeah.
is another one. Look, again, I'm not going to agree with the president on many things here, but I got to give him like, let's just fucking kill it, man. The penny is like we've been talking about this for years, and people say, well, it'll cost more to take it out of circulation than it does to keep it going. I'm like, well, we've been talking about that for 20 years. If we would have ended it 20 years ago, like, wouldn't we have saved all that money? The longer you do it, hey, let's just get the penny out of here. What can you do with a penny anymore these days, anyways? So I don't know.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I often catch myself and I wonder, like I don't have like coin. I don't have
Yeah.
paper money. I may have to think about this as part of like a personal resilience strategy. Like, am I being smart here? Do I need to have more, coin around the house? But like I don't use cash, right? I mean, I don't like day to day. I don't use paper cash or coins. They're like, I don't know that we need the penny anymore. I think it's a fair argument. But at the same time, like, do we want to round everything up to the next nickel? Like, that's like, I don't know if we want to. We're already being ripped off by a lot of things. So if everybody starts rounding up, are we over the course of the year? Like, I haven't done the math calculation on that. I'm sure somebody has. How much more will the average American household spend if we don't have the penny? That'd be my only question, and I haven't done the research to know the answer to that question, to be honest. But like theoretically, like just like daylight savings times, we've been talking about these issues forever. America is generally in agreement that we probably don't need the penny. We don't need daylight savings. Like, these are popular moves the president could actually put in place. I think he will do daylight savings, by the way. That I think people will be like, yeah, like okay, like yeah, these actually may be common sense decisions. That the president could be proud of if he wasn't also flooding the zone with chaos and confusion and war against certain populations. People might actually be like, hey, Donald Trump, you're doing good things.
Yeah, I mean, these are the type of actions I can get behind. If we really want to do this type of stuff, let's do it. I'm not fully behind a private citizen who has the world's richest man getting access to our treasury system, but hey, to each their own, Andy, to each their own. But I mean, you never know how these things work out. Look, I think there's so much government inefficiency and government waste out there. There's definitely a lot of ways to do this. I find it very interesting in all of this stuff is no, like a lot of people are complaining about the how they are doing it, but a lot of people I don't hear a whole lot of complaining about that they shouldn't be doing it. So it is fascinating to see. I think a lot of people recognize I think just the way the president executes things is just very poorly done, and unfortunately, I think there is going to be long-term impacts and ramifications that we don't see today. We'll see in 5 to 10 years from now, when he's too old. So
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a whole conversation we can have. Speaking of, some of that nonsense, I don't know if you saw yesterday, Dave, but the president and his partner, had a press conference in the Oval Office yesterday, which
they
received
did.
quite a bit of attention. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was interesting, and he denied that there's a hostile takeover going on there. The fact that you have to have those type of questions in there is quite amazing.
yeah,
I mean, it's Trump sitting at the thing, and then Elon holding court
yeah.
effectively,
That's right.
standing next to him. It's great images there.
It looked
Uh,
ridiculous.
yeah, and just ask yourself, America, if like, are you okay with that? Like, Elon's your best buddy now, and everybody wants to be there. I don't know. One thing I will guarantee you, though, Andy, somebody will vote next election cycle because there are no more paper straws and there are no more pennies. So somebody will vote as that will be their core issue.
Yeah.
Well, got rid of those two things, so I'm all for GOP next time. So,
Hey,
um,
whatever it
but
takes, Dave. Whatever it
whether,
takes.
whether that's the king or whether that's somebody else. Okay, Andy, let's go into our last little segment. So let's do a little fun piece here, somewhat connected to the Super Bowl, but also more to the pop culture. There are a lot of movie advertisements during the Super Bowl, Andy. I don't know if you got to, I know you were, lapping it up at the party and everything, and you're enjoying the good football game. Did you see a lot of the commercials or the,
I passively saw the commercials.
yeah. Okay, so I'm going to help you here, Andy. So I'm going to
Appreciate
help you with some movies that were advertised during the Super Bowl, and I want your like I'm going to go see this or I'm
All
not.
right.
How's that sound?
I'm in. I'm in.
We've done this before in a couple different things. I mean, but like when we have those big conventions and they list out the movies and shows they're doing. This is going to be I think there's going to be 8 of them. Okay, well I'll count them down here. Um, Lilo and Stitch, the live action of a very popular cartoon show,
Yeah.
cartoon movie.
Yeah.
We enjoyed Lilo and Stitch. It would be fascinating to watch. Are you going to watch this or not, Andy?
I think it looks really fun the way they're doing it. The
Yeah.
sort of like the live action animation, piece. I think it looks really, but no, I probably will not go and see it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably going to see this. My daughter is still young enough that she likes Lilo
Yeah.
and Stitch, and
Yeah.
and he's a fun character. I'm in on Lilo.
Yeah. A little chaos maker. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I'm on a Lilo and Stitch, so that's pretty good. Okay, next one, Andy. Smurfs. Big one here is Rihanna is playing Smurfette, but Smurfs had a run a couple years back. With Neil Patrick Harris
Yeah.
being one of the characters there. And so Gargamel's always fun. I get a feeling you're not going to watch the Smurfs, Andy.
So we did see, I think, two Smurfs movies, I think,
Yeah.
before, and it was fun. I missed that advertisement. I would be interested in watching, like it'd be fun to watch it, but I will say, just based on what movies we see these days and time, I will probably not see the Smurfs movie. But I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think there's probably an audience for it, but yeah, definitely not. Maybe with my youngest one, but okay. Another live action of a very famous or successful cartoon series, movies, and then series. How to Train Your Dragon, Andy.
Yeah. Also one that we saw, in the theater before and thoroughly enjoyed And this looks, I think, really cool, to be honest. So again, I don't think we'll probably watch it, but I would. Like I'd be totally open to it.
I think that like on some of these live action ones, and they say they're live action, but they're really just overloaded with CGI because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't make like there's no such thing as a pet dragon today. I mean, especially one
So,
that looks the way they look. So always fun to see this. I'll probably watch this one. I can envision seeing this one, Andy.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay. This might be an oxymoron, but Jurassic World Rebirth, but it's actually, I think, the last Jurassic. Well, they say it's the last Jurassic World until it's not the last one. But this is Jurassic World Rebirth. Scarlett Johansson, crush of mine. I think everybody has a crush on Black Widow. But where you at on Jurassic World Rebirth?
I thought it looked cool. I think, I mean, they're kind of silly movies, and it's like it's a franchise that like probably doesn't need to exist. Like it was a great movie, probably could have just left it there and been done with it. And I don't think
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum's in this one. And to me, like he's a critical character. You know what I mean? Like he's awesome. Like he's so entertaining. But I think it'll be fun. I mean, I don't know that we'll see it. I'm guessing I'll probably watch it at home at some point. I think it'd be fun.
I like the original Jurassic
Yeah,
Park, that one. Then I didn't need 3 follow-ons to that
yeah,
one. And then
exactly.
I liked when they did the restart with Chris Pratt. I thought that one was a really good one. I didn't need the follow-ons to that. I'll probably watch this if this comes out on cable and I got nothing else to watch, but I'm holding going to the theaters. Okay, Andy, a very popular sport now because of Netflix, but F1 this summer, Andy.
Yeah,
F,
yeah. So no, because I don't personally care. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, I mean, I know it's super popular. One of my sons loves it. I know it's gotten a lot of attention. Racing's, super popular. I just don't give a shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Some people can say like this guy like the drivers are really awesome. They had some fun commercials during the Super Bowl about F1 racing that Fox was
Yeah,
doing. I
those
thought
were
those
fun
were
commercials.
fun, but again, I'm not going to go see the movie. I know Brad Pitt's in it, not going to go see it. So,
Yeah.
okay, Andy, Thunderbolts. When this was first announced, I was not a big. I mean, I was like, eh. But the more the trailers are coming out, I'm actually kind of, oh, I'm in on this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. They're silly, fun characters. It has that sort of Guardians, James Gunn type
Yep.
energy, and I think it's going to be a fun. I think it's going to be fun. I like it. I like the way it looks at it. I think it might be a fun way to sort of like Marvel to address sort of the void of the Avengers, and I think it'll be good.
Yeah, and so some people compare this to Suicide Squad, the DC
Yeah,
like again, these are bad generally bad guys or gray individuals with gray backgrounds are now going to be the heroes because there are worse people out there. So I find this like I like it. It's going to do better than Suicide Squad. The characters are much better. I think they did better on developing those characters because again, they're in a movie together, but they were all bits parts of other shows. I think it's cool to pull them all together.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's gonna be cool.
okay. What is expected to be the last Mission Impossible is Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. Tom Cruise, we talked about him previously, ton of Mission Impossible movies, all of them. This might be his last one. Man, he looks like his opening at the Super Bowl was like
It's
he
bad.
he, I would look bad. I mean,
Look bad.
he looked bad, and I watched Top Gun Maverick was on last night, and I was like, yeah, he still looks okay, but last night he looked rough. He looked
Yeah,
rough.
I mean, like I don't know how old Tom Cruise is, but like Tom Cruise, it's okay to get older, brother. Like it's okay to age. Like do it well. I mean, and he doesn't. I mean, he looks somewhat natural. Like if you look at his jaw, like he looks like somewhat like he's naturally aging. But then like whatever he did for the Super Bowl, like his head looked double the size it normally does. He didn't look healthy. Maybe it was almost like a hostage type video, like you're going to make the Super Bowl commercial, Tom Cruise. I'll probably end up seeing Mission Impossible because there'll be a night when there's nothing else to watch, and we'll be like, "Hey, let's put on this." Like, well, I don't think I'll go to the theater to watch it. I don't really care about the Mission Impossible franchise. Like, they're entertaining enough, If like you need to just dial out and like entertain me, like they serve the purpose. So
Yeah,
I'll probably watch it. But let me like Jurassic Park and the series, like let it go. Like let's wrap it up, Tom Cruise. Let's wrap it up.
yeah. I went from a really cool espionage type of thing to like just pretty much like all action. What's the
Yeah,
craziest shit that Tom Cruise can do in a
yeah,
movie?
yeah.
That's what he's doing. So, all right, last one, Andy. Megan 2.0. This is a sequel, another sequel about a robot. I don't know much about the first Megan. I'm not going to watch the second Megan. So, but it came out.
Yeah, no, I have no idea what it's about. I have zero interest in finding out what it's about. It
Yeah.
looks like it's supposed to be some kind of horror, I'm guessing. Like it looks like the
Yeah.
standard Chucky creepy doll kind of thing. And that does zero for me. As a genre, like horror is crap. Like they suck. I don't know if there's a horror movie, but it certainly looks like one.
Well, they generally cost very little to make, and they can make a lot of money. You can get a lot of return off that. Even if like you could make a horror movie for, $5 million or something, and you can make 25, 30 million on it, and it's a good win on that. So, but I'm just that's a genre I've never been into.
Yeah.
I think the worst I ever got was Scream, those movies. But
Those,
if you
those were stupid fun, right? Those weren't even
yeah,
like real horror
those aren't
movies.
really horror,
Yeah.
right? I wouldn't say it's a horror. So. Okay, Andy, so that was fun. Go through some of those here on you. We've got to start filling this time, Andy. We got, an audience to feed and no more football. So, I guess we'll just have to start filling with some of these things. So it'd be fun to see.
Well, maybe we are approaching like summer blockbuster time, so we will have some movies to
Yeah.
talk about. The NFL is going to be keeping us alive here because we will like the NFL is a year-round activity now, which is great. So there's going to be a lot to cover, Dave. I know those that dial in each day here we give a lot of football. It's okay for us to dial it back. I think there'll be other things for us to cover. And if somebody has something they want us to weigh in on, like you and I can we're so full of shit we can talk on any subject. So I look forward to what the next few months will be bringing us.
We are definitely full of shit, Andy. So we are definitely that. So on those happy notes, Andy, I will look forward to our discussion on, I guess, on Friday. It's the end of the week almost.
Valentine's Day, buy your flowers, buy your overpriced chocolates before the tariffs make them all too expensive for Americans to buy, Dave.
That's right. Exactly. All right, Andy, with that, I'll catch up with you on Friday.